Hello and welcome to the first episode of the first Let's Play series that I've done in a very long time. Now you may notice, or have noticed, the PS2 loading screen and the very old copyright date on this game, and that is because this is a PS2 game, Naval Ops Commander. The Naval Ops series is one that was very near and dear to my heart when I was a kid playing games and growing up and sort of cutting my teeth on the kind of games that I was gonna play as an adult, because I played tons of games like this, and that involve a lot of building and design and that sort of thing, like Factorio and Minecraft. And this is definitely one of the games where I got my start. Now, naval combat is of course not the same thing as building a house or a factory, but as you'll see as we go through the game, a huge aspect of the game itself is designing your own ships for combat. If you want, at least at this point, a very thorough explanation of what this game is, there is a review up on the channel already, and a little card is going to pop up, and I think it's the top right hand corner, that if you want to go listen to the review before I actually start the Let's Play, feel free to do so. Otherwise, we are going to get started here. So, Naval Ops Commander is a game that I actively play, and if I hit continue, you'll see the one playthrough that I'm currently working on. This is the first time I've played it since I had to rebuild my PC a few months ago, so I wasn't thinking, and I didn't copy over all my save data, so I have to start over, but that's fine. This game is about 3/4 of the way through the main story. I have not gotten to the New Game Plus yet, and I haven't done any of the survival challenges, so that's that. But that's not where we're going to start. Where we're going to start is at the very beginning with the new game. And I'm going to do normal difficulty, because this game can be hard enough in itself on normal.
There was a sudden and totally unexpected radio silence from Navicia Mission Command. At first, we believed that our radio was being jammed by our Virtia enemies. However, after trying and failing in various methods to contact Mission Command, we were forced to face the ugly truth. Mission Command had fallen. It was the worst of all possible scenarios. There had been warnings of Virtia's sudden and unexpected campaign of expansion. Countries began to fall, one after another. And now, the sudden disappearance of our country's mission command. Just what is happening? Are we truly at war? Will we find the answers to our questions on the other side of this ocean that lies before us?
So that is where our story begins. This is sort of the introduction to the game. It doesn't exactly serve as a training. There is a small tutorial you can do, but we'll skip that. Every mission begins with this sort of fly through or fly past your ship. I'm just gonna skip out of that.
All hands to battle stations!
So, as you can see,
fleet sighted.
I would like to apologize for any audio inconsistencies that pop up. I am running this on an emulator, so sometimes the audio kind of freaks out. The visuals in this game hold up pretty well on the emulation software. It looks a bit weird on my monitor. I play with it stretched out, but it seems to look better in the recordings, so hopefully it looks just like normal PS2 graphics to you guys instead of stretched out. If there's some issue, please let me know, and I will sacrifice my gameplay comfort for these recordings so that it looks a bit sharper. I mean, it is a PS2 game, so ultimately there's only so much you can do, but anyways, we find ourselves here at the beginning, running for our lives to the other side of the map. You can see here when I pull up the objective. We're just trying to get to that red square at the other end of this channel. Naval Ops Commander is a top-down action strategy game, I guess. I am commanding the lead ship right here. And the two little ships that are following me are my escort ships. You can have up to 3 escort ships, but it gives you only 2 in the beginning. If you see down here, I'm going to move my weapon selector left and right. I am currently controlling the weapon that is selected. The other weapons auto-fire. Machine guns only auto-fire against enemy torpedoes and missiles and aircraft. But everything else will fire on its own whenever I get within range of a ship or a submarine or anything like that. There are some other controls. You can change your squad or your escort settings right here. You've got line formation, which is they just follow you in a straight line. You've got defensive formation, which places them in a rough triangle or circle around you to protect you more fully from aircraft and torpedoes and later on missiles. You've got offensive formation. I don't know what this is actually supposed to do, but in the old game manual, in the physical copy of this game, which I did own at one point, but no longer do, it said that this increased your attack power somehow. And then this is scouting formation, really only useful at nighttime, but it increases your view and your radar range. Typically, I go for line or defensive formation, just depending on what the mission parameters are.
Objective achieved. Prepare to leave this sector.
Now, since this is a Let's Play, I will let every mission briefing play and post-mission scene play the first time that we go through them. But there is some grinding in this game, so in subsequent playthroughs of missions, I'll skip them.
Let us use this as our base to rebuild our forces.
Okay. So, because I played this game like a cajillion times when I was in middle school and high school, and have played it a cajillion times since.
We were somehow able to reach an Allied supply base near the front lines.
I don't know if the game sometimes skipped reading lines altogether, or if that's an audio glitch based on emulation.
In case of war, I guess our foresight paid off. Still, it doesn't change anything. The reports still don't make sense, and we still do not have a clear picture of just what is going on. Time continues to pass without word from home. But that doesn't mean we can give up. Whether we stay here or return home, we will need help from our allies. Finally, we were able to contact our government. However, our request for orders gained us only a terse reply. Each commander is to act on his own cognizance. It appears that we, and what few allies we can gather, are on our own.
Alright, so here's the first and most major decision that we get to make going through the game. Which country we want to play as. Each country has specifically different aircraft that represent real-world aircraft that that country had. So Japanese aircraft, American, and so forth. Each of the country also has different specializations and get different ship hull classes based on what country they selected. So the Americans, for example, have the best aircraft carriers in the game. They can have carriers which I believe can carry up to 26 or 28 aircraft. And then they have the widest variety of aircraft in general. You can see the little descriptions below these as to roughly what they're for. I've played through the game a couple of times as the Japanese, a couple of times as the Americans, once as the Germans. But I was sat down and I thought about it, and I don't think I've ever played through this game from start to finish as the British. So for this Let's Play, that's what we're going to do. That way I can experience a few new things alongside you guys. Alright, we will call this game Let's Play, Commander. That sounds kind of dirty. Let's play, Commander. I don't run out of letters. Oh, yeah. Alright, this is our home base menu. You've got several different options. Briefing is where you can go and select the different missions. Right now we only have A1, but we'll get more and more as we go through. You have tech. Whenever you have enough money, you can spend money to research new technologies, which gives you new parts to purchase. You have depot. This is where you can buy everything. You can buy certain things when you go to build your ships, but in terms of buying hulls and pre-built ships and escort ships, you can only buy those in this menu. I'll go to design last. Then you have other, which this has got your options menu. You've got a log where you can see all kinds of stuff in the game. Look at the different kills you've got, which as you get more of these, you unlock special rewards at the 100, 500, and then 999 number tier. So, quite a few special rewards. Some of them are pretty good, some of them kind of suck, but you can go here and you can view information about each of the different levels, the super ships you'll fight, which we won't get to those in this episode. We won't get to those for a few episodes, but if you went and watched the review, then you already know about super ships. And then you can look at all the different equipment that you've unlocked in the game so far, but we don't really have anything, so. The most important menu out of all of these, though, is the design menu. Here you can build ships. So there's a few different things. Automatic is stupid. You never want to use that, but basically, if you just want something thrown together really quickly, you put a few parameters in, and the automatic ship builder creates a ship for you that is kind of close to those parameters. Status lets you view your ships, different weapons and stats without actually having to go into the design menu. That's the tutorial. And scrap is where you can just delete a ship and you get all the parts back in your inventory. We only have one ship, so we can't do that right now, which I think is kind of dumb. But we do have regular design, which is where you choose a ship and you go into the editing menu. So there's not a lot we can do at this point without very much money or tech, but you can make some changes to the basic design. We can increase or decrease armor. We can take a look at the guns and things and change those around. For example, we can take these and we could replace them with these two different kinds of weapons if we had ammo or money, but we don't. So, just looking at this, the British destroyer I think is the best destroyer to start with in the game. It's the only destroyer at the very beginning that comes with the 12.7 centimeter 45 caliber guns. The others come with 10 centimeter guns. So this actually has pretty good starting guns. I could up the barrels on these, but this ship is fairly slow. So I don't want to up the barrels because that will add more weight and make us even slower. So actually, I think I'm just going to leave this alone. The American destroyer, in particular, is pretty bad. I usually rip everything off of it right away and rebuild it. But we'll probably go through the first mission without me making any changes to this ship. And when we actually design a ship, I'll go through all this stuff a bit more thoroughly. I'm not even going to waste my time naming it. I usually try and pick a theme and go with that theme. If you were paying attention, you notice that my American save game is Rogue One, because I started this game around the time I got Rogue One on Blu-ray, and watched it like 50 times. So all of the ships in there have Star Wars names. I'll think of a theme for this while we're going, but for now, let's go ahead and start mission A1. Oh good, they're not going to read. We have reports that the enemy is constructing a harbor facility in the neighboring area.
The very existence of that facility is a knife pointed at the throat of our country. There does not appear to be a defensive fleet protecting the site. Perhaps they are not yet aware of us. We cannot let this chance pass. We must destroy that facility. The enemy force is composed of a few destroyers and transports. However, we anticipate small torpedo boats also stationed in the area. Our ships will need to be outfitted with interception capability, such as machine guns. From its position, we believe they are also planning to create an aerial defense perimeter. It is possible that our forces could encounter a carrier fleet en route to deployment. Captain, what are your orders?
So during the mission briefing, they usually give you hints about secondary objectives that will pop up during the game, and we'll give you a very rough idea of what ship equipment to take. I have done this so many times, I don't need their help. And towards the latter part of the game, they become even less useful. But I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't say why. So here, you can choose your escort ships to take with you. As I said, you can have a total of 3. Right now we've got 2 light destroyer A's. Ship types go from A to D, and as the letter gets farther down the alphabet, they get more powerful. And there are multiple types of each ship. For example, in destroyers, there's light destroyers, anti-aircraft destroyers, and then standard destroyers. And that goes for each ship type. And there's even more that I just said, but we'll get into the specifics later as we get some different ones. And I'll probably talk in future episodes about why I'm choosing one escort over another one for a mission. So, obviously for now, we have no options, so we're just going to go with what we have. Skip that.
All hands to battle stations! Full speed ahead!
Alright, so we gotta sink 2 destroyers, and secondary objective, destroy 30% of enemy port installations. Now if you'll notice on the radar, I just pointed with my finger, you can't see my finger. I don't have a mouse cursor either, because I'm running this emulation. But I think you can tell what the radar is. You'll see all the red dots. So red dots are just enemy ships. White dots are objectives, and the white dots represent everything from ships to installations, gun turrets, that sort of thing. Anything that's white, it's a mission objective. And there are other types of dots that will appear, but these dots over here are a group of transports, and transports have a higher chance than other ships to carry loot drops, so you can get money, parts, or other things to help you in a mission from sinking ships. And I think transport's ratings are twice as high
fleet sighted
as other ships to carry goodies. So I'm gonna run these guys down over here.
Full speed ahead!
So something I haven't decided on, and I'd love to hear some feedback on this before I get too far into the Let's Play series itself. This game gets incredibly grindy. I'll probably make reference to that many times as we go. And I'm just curious as to whether or not you want to see grinding on screen or have grinding done off screen. I think I'll do all shipbuilding on screen, but
Full speed ahead.
Actually just replaying the missions over and over again to get enough money, well, that takes a while. You know, now that I say that, I think that I will do an occasional grinding video, like very occasionally, less than 10%. Only if it's doing something interesting, but otherwise I won't show them, because they can get really boring, and I don't know what I'm going to talk about going through these same missions over and over and over again. Alright, so we had a new secondary objective pop up, and this happens during missions. Whenever I destroyed those transports, it popped up, it said sink 3 enemy cruisers. We could do that, but I don't want to get killed on the first mission with the crappy ship, So I'm gonna go over here and destroy some of the base installations because you get bonus money and points for completing more objectives. So this is a pretty easy objective to complete, and then I'm gonna exit the mission. Oh man, I forgot how crappy the starting guns are. Even these.
Cut all engines.
I hope you can't hear me just hammering away at the A button. I'm using an Xbox controller, by the way. I don't have a PS3 or PS4 controller. So I'm using an Xbox controller and emulating PS2 controller that way. It does make some things a little weird. I think the PlayStation 2 had better joysticks. Or it might just be the software, but there's kind of a little bit of a dead zone, and then it jerks over, so it's a little bit hard to control fine movements. Everything else works out okay for this game, but the PS2 controller had pressure-sensitive buttons as well. So there are certain games which utilize that feature that are nigh impossible to play with an Xbox controller.
Cut all engines.
Let's see how far we are. Oh, only 10%. You can do it, little destroyer. Little destroyer that could, guys. Looks like the other ships are starting to chase us down. I might just abandon this objective. I really forgot how bad early game guns are. Let's see where we're at. 20%. Close.
Ahead slow.
Got it. Okay. So, unless the mission clearly says you have to go to a red box objective to leave the map, you can just hit the pause menu and hit return, and then you complete the mission.
We were successful in taking out the enemy's harbor facility. Unfortunately, now the enemy knows we're here. We must rendezvous with our allies as soon as possible to resolve this situation.
And here we come to the score menu. After every mission, you are given this score menu that tells you how well you did and what your rewards were. I probably shouldn't have gone so fast through that. I'll probably explain that in another video. We're getting close to the end of the time that I want to record. I want to keep these around 20 to 30 minutes. So, next time. Do want to take a look at the tech tree. Let's see, things are 10,000. So in the very beginning of the game, things that you want are metallurgy for new ship hulls and certain weapon types, and weapons, obviously, for better weapons. Everything is important, except for air tech, unless you want to run carriers, which I do. I love carriers. I will be running a few. Air tech can pretty much be ignored, but the other four all intertwine, and air tech does as well. Electronics and metallurgy really play into everything. Without certain metallurgy levels, you can't get certain engine types. Without electronics, you can't get certain engine types. Same goes for weapons. Electronics and metallurgy both play into weapons. And everything plays into air tech. Let's see, we'll do one weapon. and 1 metallurgy. Alright, 10cm guns. Not very good. Torpedoes, the most powerful weapons you'll have access to for a long time. So, new torpedoes are always good. The machine guns, it honestly doesn't matter what size machine gun you use. They're really only effective at taking out torpedoes. Once you get to more powerful CIWs, which are like ultra rapid fire machine gun systems, you'll stop using these pretty much altogether. Alright, different forward bridge, different aft bridge, new destroyer hull, that's good. Light destroyer B, so that's an escort ship. And that's that. And since we are at the 25-minute mark, I think I'm going to call it here. On the next episode, we'll pick up where we left off, probably do another mission or two, and really build out our first ship. If you like the content that you see on the channel, and you want to see more just like it, I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button. If you want to follow me elsewhere on the internet than just on YouTube, you can do so over on Twitter at JMA4707. I tweet about all kinds of stuff. I'm on 2 podcasts, the Video Game Logic podcast, which airs every Friday at noon-ish Eastern Standard Time, and I'm on the Straight as a Pretzel podcast, which airs every Sunday-ish. And if you want to be streaming the occasional video game over on Twitch, you can do so at twitch.tv/jarthur4707. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this content. Until next time, bye-bye now.